Let's talk. So let's talk about Jeanne, my 600-pound life. Now, this episode, it's a lot of words I could use to describe it. It was very traumatic. It was dramatic. It was sad. It was not encouraging. It was a lot with this episode. I'm just going to start off by saying that. And I just want to say, I felt like this episode really shouldn't have been an episode, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna start off by blaming the producers for Jeanne. Her name is Jeanne. She's 39 years old. She's from Texas. And the reason why I say this really shouldn't even be an episode is because I feel like the most successful people are those that kind of have something forward to look for and something like a future. You know, like they have kids they want to live for, they have a spouse, they want to get married, they want to have kids, they have family, they have friends, like they have people, they have something going for them, something that they want to live for and fight for. And I felt like Jeanne from the very beginning did not have that at all. And from the very outskirts, from the second that this show started, I was so scared. This whole show, I knew something tragic was going to happen. I'm gonna be honest, I knew it from the very beginning, but I thought that Jeanne was gonna die while filming this series, or I thought that her mom was gonna die while filming this. That's what I thought from the very moment it started. So let's just review 600-pound life, the story of Jeanne. So Jeanne's 39 years old. She lives in Texas. She lives with her mom and her dad. They have like 9 dogs. And Jeanne, I just didn't think it was going to be good from the beginning. She started off with, like all the scenes do, started out in the bed. She could barely get herself up, go to the bathroom. And then this is when I started to get mad at Jeanne. Her mom comes in the room to help her, and her mom gives her a bath basically by getting a pot out the sink and washing her up. She can't fit in the shower anymore. But when you see her mom, this is why I got upset. Her mom, you can obviously tell that she has some health problems and she's sick herself. You just tell by the way she looks, by the way she moves. And I'm like, you should be taking care of your mom at this point. So Jeanne, they start to give her backstory, like, you know, a lot of the other backstory. She was raised with her, it was just her and her mom. Her dad, they never were together. And they moved in with her grandmother, and her grandma was abusive verbally and physically to her. And her mom worked like 2 jobs. She was like never there because she was trying to provide for them. So Jeanne picked up a lot of weight as a little kid. I believe what stood out to me, she was 9 and she was 200 pounds. I have a 9-year-old, and we actually just went to the doctor yesterday. She's 78 pounds. So I was just thinking, like, from the beginning, this was bad. So she was 200 pounds by the time she's 9. She got molested one time by one of her mom's boyfriends, never told anybody, kept all of this inside of her. Go through junior high, go through high school. She drops out because she just can't take the bullying and being overweight and can't get around. So I think she tries to work, has a couple of minor jobs, and then this is, I think too, this is where the story just takes a bad turn. I believe it was 23, she got on disability. Well, when she got on disability, she started getting a check. And when she started getting a check, I guess that's when her mom just kind of cut back working and pretty much just started taking care of her solely and primarily. This too is also where she reached out to her dad, and then her dad came back into their life and moved in actually with her and her mom. And I say it takes a bad turn because I feel like they were all kind of probably living, this is just what I'm assuming, what it seems like. It seems like they were all kind of just living off their Jeanne's disability check. And so it seemed to perpetuate and make the level of enabling at an all-time high. I mean, the level of enablement here was so bad. It's like they never required her to do anything. Like, she was over 700 pounds, but she was mobile. She could walk, she could move, but it was just like she didn't. Even when they were getting ready to go to the car to go to see Dr. Now, she was like, can you bring the car closer? But she was moving she looked like she was moving pretty good. Granted, she was out of breath. She smoked too. That was another thing. You really don't see the people on 600-pound life smoke too often, but she smoked. Let's fast forward. They drive 4 hours. The mom and Jeanne, they drive 4 hours to get there. They make it. They get there, she steps on the scale, she's 702 pounds. Dr. Now from the beginning, he's like, he already know like this is gonna be a problem because he saw the mom was there and the enablement was just off the charts. So they go there. Dr. Now gives the same spiel that he tells every single person that comes there. I don't understand why people that come there, you know exactly what he's going to tell you. I don't understand why you are not geared up and ready for this. Low carb, high protein diet, 1,200 calories. See you in 2 months. I want you to lose 100 pounds. So she's mad at Dr. Now, which she was mad at Dr. Now so much during this episode. I was mad at her for being mad at Dr. Now. Why are you mad at Dr. Now? Anyway. So they go back home. They go back. Fast forward 2 months. No. Let me stop. Oh, I got to stop. I'm getting way ahead of myself. So they go in. Dr. Now, she shows them her leg. She has an infection. They send her to the hospital right away. She has this infection. Come to find out, it seemed to appear that it was because of hygiene issues and not being able to clean it right. So they keep her in the hospital. Dr. Now basically is like, if you hadn't come here to get treated, you would be dead because it would have went to your blood and you pretty much would end up septic and died of an infection. So they treat her in the hospital. I want to say it was like a couple weeks, IV antibiotics, get the infection cleaned up as good as they can, show the mom and her what they should be doing, how they should clean it going forward. Meanwhile, while she's in the hospital, she loses 53 pounds. So she only has 47 pounds to lose, and she now has 6 weeks to lose it. They go back. She's gained, I want to say 38, 39. I wrote it down this time. She's gained 29 pounds, and she just has no idea why it happened. Dr. Now was like, look, I'm not about to come here and play with y'all. Y'all playing games. You're not following the diet. I'm going to give you another chance. Come back in 2 months and you need to lose that 100 pounds. So she go back. She go on this rant at Dr. Now, like, I'm going to prove you wrong and you so off. And she just act like Dr. Now was just giving her the business, and he wasn't. He actually was kind of nice. He threw a little shade at the mama. He was like, you eating too much and you feeding her too much. But other than that, he wasn't really harsh. He wasn't really hard, in my opinion, to them. So they go back, fast forward, they go back 2 months. They go back. I think they had lost 8 pounds. And Dr. Now really, he like, you know what, you are not taking this serious. If you wouldn't have came to me, you would be dead. I'm going to give you one more chance, and you need to do this. And she's like, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it this time. And he's like, why are you going to do it now? And they going back and forth, back and forth. She mad at Dr. Now. Fast forward, she comes back, and she has, I don't know why I can't remember this stuff. I think she had lost 8 pounds. I forget where I'm at in the story. Y'all know what happened. I think she had only lost 8 pounds. But it was something bigger at play. She said they had got off focus because her mom was sick. So Dr. Now, he kind of shifts his attention. He looks at her and he looks at the mom. And he's like, okay, let me check you out. So he checks out the mom. She's had some type of abdominal surgery about a year ago. And it was infected. And Dr. Now was like, this is serious. Both of y'all got an infection now. And he sends both of them to the hospital. He's now more concerned about the mom, and they do a surgery on her. It was a long surgery. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 hours, but they get everything done. He removed a lot of scar tissue. He removed some loose skin. I think it was like 9 pounds, but she recovered through this whole thing. Here's where the story really gets tragic and just really, it's just sad. So 4 hours procedure, she come back, the daughter's ready to be discharged, she's been treated with IV antibiotics, and it's like, okay, you can go home. Well, meanwhile, they hadn't talked to their dad in a day. He had been calling, they talked to him the day when she had the surgery, but that next day they didn't hear from him. So they send the police out there to do like a wellness check to see was he fine. They wasn't. Sheriff's call and basically says he's dead, he's deceased, it looks like he passed in his sleep. So, of course, the story now is, tragic at its worst. So, Dr. Now does arrange for them to go back home, for them to take their car, arrange through the Medi service to safely transport them back home. But it's so sad because the mom was really so weak. She was just recovering from surgery, and Jeanne, had just been treated at the hospital as well. So they go home. And good thing, at least Jeanne did talk to Lola, the therapist, over the phone, kind of about the grieving process and what she'll experience and things like that, and talk to her a little bit. But pretty much that's really the end of the story. Jeanne and her mom quit the program. Really, my condolences to Jeanne and her family for their dad. It seemed like they really were just all the family that they had. They didn't show any other outside family or friends, or nobody else came to visit. It really seemed like it was just them three. So I know that that's going to be hard for them and their family. And I just say that this was a tragic, sad, dramatic episode, because I really do feel like that's the last time we're going to see Jeanne. Unlike the other episodes, I don't think we'll be seeing her on where they are now. What do you guys think? I really don't. I feel like Jeanne was very, it seemed like she had given up hope. It seemed like she didn't have much fight in her, and the level of enablement from her parents, well, now her mom, it just seemed like it wasn't much hope for her. I really don't think we'll see them on where they are now. If we do, I will be surprised. I don't see Jeanne losing any weight going forward. I don't see her mom changing her behavior by enabling her. It seemed like that cycle is just going to continue, and I really feel sad for them, and I feel like this episode was really a downer, and it was really depressing. I know it's reality. It does happen. But I'm mad at the producers, because I feel like they wasn't a good fit from the beginning, because they had all the red flags in place for this to happen. So what do y'all think about this episode? Do you think we'll see Jeanne again? Do you think she will get back in the program? I really don't. I feel like she just blamed a lot of people. She never took ownership for her life. She never seemed like she had anything to live for. She didn't seem interested in joining the program. She just, at the end of the episode, it talked about how she wanted, she couldn't give up food, and all she wanted to do pretty much was drown herself in food. So I'm not hopeful that we'll see anything out of Jeanne in the future, or anything positive out of Jeanne in the future. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here.